Let me get it.
I'm sad about the Sentinel beam.
Yeah, I don't know
Oh,
why they.
what the fuck is up with that?
Fuck.
I don't know why they're taking out all the guns.
I got a triple kill with it last night. Like,
I did see that. Tashi was talking about that. He said, "Epic Beast got a triple kill. You gotta take it out of there." All right, I'm gonna pull it. Okay, so we're gonna get into. I'm gonna try to get through 2 games tonight. So the first one's gonna be this Livefire King of the Hill because it's got Beast, Monkeyz, and Fulcrum in it, and then try to get something from Stretchy Pants after. Share my screen. I'm not playing off of my Xbox, so it doesn't lag. Hopefully. Oh, you guys could already see that. Okay, so I'm gonna start off here. This is the tool that we use to go over these. It's kind of cool that I can isolate hills, and I'm gonna give a little bit of strategy to each of these hills here as we talk about them. Not a whole lot of in-depth, but I want you guys to have a general concept of how King of the Hill should be played and like setups that we can be going for, and then a couple plays that I make that I found successful, and I have to give credit to Eli the Ninja for this opening strat here, at least the beginning concept here. But with each of these hills, I'm gonna quadrant it off real quick. I want you to think about every hill that we're going for as where's the objective at and where's the furthest spawn point away for the enemy. So with this first one, with these quadrants set up, the furthest point away is going to easily be either dummies or A, one of those two. Preferably, I want them to spawn over into dummies because there's no cover there. So I want our team to spread out into controlling like over towards. Nope, that's not us. If they're gonna spawn over in dummies, we're gonna control more of A, so we can have like sandbags, we can have big door, nest, and then the guy in hill. If you look at the way that I've quadranted this off, we have someone in 3 of the 4, so we've controlled 75% of this map, and we can kind of rotate around. Understanding that this guy up on sandbags is not going to influence this spawn over by window, they could still spawn there, but you can flip around and you can look for that. You can also rotate over towards tower. Tower is another one that I like to hold. Tower is probably the most important spawn on this map for most every objective. You want to try to control this mud area and get the tower spawn. But depending upon where the enemies are pushing at and whatnot, that's how those are the 2 spawn points I want them to be at. Or I guess the third one would be the turbine one. But this area, this general area is where I want them because that's the furthest point away from this hill. You go to the next hill. Stop it. Go to the next hill. It's on C tower. So similarly, we're gonna want to have them spawning in a window because that's the furthest point away. So we can control hill, you can control out on B, and you can control top mid. This one's a little bit wonkier because you don't want to have someone just isolated out on B by themselves. However, you guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. My Discord's been weird. I have it pulled up just to make sure. This one, you don't want to get away. This is when I was talking about those lanes. We don't want to get so far away from your team that you don't have help. So this guy, like the guy who's going to come out over on turbine side and the guy who's over on B needs to understand they're playing a role out in this position, and that's to prevent the enemy team from spawning there and it's to prevent them from being able to walk around there freely. Because they're doing a job that's on what I would call a weak side because they're away from the rest of the team, the guys up on the hill need to be aware of who's out there. So this guy up on tower, if he's back behind or if he's on the back of tower, he needs to be looking back and forth between his teammates. And you shouldn't over challenge if you're out on one of these positions. Kind of hard. I don't know like a true really good setup for this side, other than knowing that you can flank out on those ones. Just don't get too far away from your team on that. Third hill is going to be the exact opposite. You'll have somebody over in window, you'll have somebody up in hill, you'll have somebody up turbine, and then B. And this is kind of how we spread out on this one. We want them to spawn over in mud or in dummies. I mostly want you to see where we should have them being spawned so that you don't rotate over there, or you can at least look for those spawns over there. So there's the third hill, then the fourth hill out on turbine. One of the most important spots to control here is either going to be a window or C tower. Whichever side you're on, you also want to complement that with the underground area. So having somebody out on a key door, having somebody out on a dummy door, just to catch that off so that they can't get out there. I prefer to have a C tower with this guy down in dummies that's on a really tight angle here, guy up in the hill, and then your last guy up on sandbags. He'll get challenged a lot, or bottom like on KoTH, something like this, so that they have to push the hill from tires or not tires, sandbags, or from a window. But you have your help down low on these off weird angles so that they can't just like flank from underneath. Controlling bottom mid on this hill is pretty vital. Then your last hill being top mid. This one you can control it from A, or you can control it from C. I prefer a C, and similar to that first hill, having somebody out on nest to make sure that they can't come up on the B side. You have somebody up on tower. You got the guy in the hill, and then your other guy in like a cuts area, and he's kind of flanking around. Letting them spawn in this A window and continuously come up is my idea. Any questions? That was really quick. Okay, I'm gonna go over this first hill real quick because this is the actual strategy that I know on this map. I opt to go for hill before camo on this, or not camo, OS, simply because the OS in this game, while it's scary when someone runs at you with OS and I don't want you to challenge them, it is really easy to team shot down OS, especially with the bandit and how quickly it shoots. And if you get the spawn over here, or you can get over and get the green gun, it melts it instantly. And by the time that OS spawns, if you have somebody who runs over, say you get a setup on nest, you get a guy in hill, you get a guy top tower, and then your last guy's bottom pillars, or even big door, something like this. This is the kind of setup that I'd really like to go for. If you can get this kind of positioning, you get the hill, you will get 30 to 45 seconds in this hill before they can, mostly 30 seconds. You'll get half the hill before they can even get the OS and push over here. So all you have to do at that point, focus down the OS guy, and then score the rest of that hill. You're up 1-0, and being up a point in King of the Hill is vital, because you can play time the rest of the game, or you can just kind of milk hills, try to get a second point. But as long as you're up on that 1 point, that is huge, and it's a different way to play it. Like if we're up a hill, I want to play a little, not passively, but I don't want to play as aggressive, because I don't need to make a mistake that's going to let them get the hill time. With that kind of thought in there, I want to go over one thing that I know, or two things when it comes to scoring. If we've got, similar to oddball, if we've got someone dead, we're down a guy, we do not need to be jumping in that hill unless we have some sort of control, like we're controlling a spawn, we have a base, or we can get some protection for our team. If we're down a guy, I'm more concerned with getting us spawned in and then jumping on that hill, for two reasons. One, if I jump on that hill, I'm exposed. They know where I'm at, and they know where I'm at, so they're going to shoot at me. The second reason is because we need to be able to get our teammates in. If we just go out there and die, the guys who are coming off spawn are going to again be down one guy, and so we have to again play passively, which turns that 10-second respawn into a 20-second of us being down one guy. So I want us to focus on keeping our team up before we start to score, and really controlling the map, then starting to score. The second thing is, if the enemy team is scoring, you win capture the hill, or king of the hill. You win king of the hill by scoring the hill. So you prevent them from scoring by keeping them out of the hill. If they're in the hill, our push needs to be to get them out of the hill. So unless you are taking shots actively from someone else, you need to be looking towards that hill to put shots into them, so that they can't just get this scrap time. So I want to really focus in on that as we go through this. So I'm gonna close out of that. You guys could see that map the whole time, right?
Correct.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Discord was telling me it was spot. Okay, we're gonna jump into this. Okay. Stop fucking asking me all these fucking questions. Holy
Yo.
Sorry. It crashed and then asked me a survey. Okay. Here we go. I'm super excited. When I looked through this, there's a couple of those things I just talked about that we can kind of elaborate on. So if we look at this, I'm gonna wait for you to die first. I'll kind of let this kind of develop. Okay. So we are about 45 seconds into the game, roughly, and we've been playing for the OS. We end up having a couple people die out here on the OS, and we don't get it. And then we've got one guy on the hill. So we got teammates doing multiple things right now. We're not all focused on one area. So the first thing is we need to be focused for the same thing. And what I want you guys to all change your perspective on for this first hill is to go for it instead of going for the OS, because you can see how much time they were able to get. It's about a third the way done, a little bit over a third. It's almost halfway. Now you guys are in it, but you guys have two guys dead and Shmeel's on the opposite side of the map. So Monkeyz is in here by himself. They're gonna spawn in around him somewhere because Shmeel's blocking the dummies. So A's wide open right now. They got one guy coming in off spawn. They're gonna spawn in on Monkeyz. He's gonna end up dying here, and by the time he dies, Fulcrum and Beast are gonna be coming up, and that means that we're still down one guy for another 10 seconds, so they can kind of set up and continue to score out this hill. So instead of going for, we can get over to Epic. So off the start here, what I would tell you is 343, please. Let's get
lower the stream quality from 1440p. I think it's a little too much.
Yeah, sorry.
I think it was the frame rate last time was what fixed it, right?
Okay.
Well, I think if you lower the in-game frame rate was what fixed the stuttery.
My capture card is also like stuttering right now because it's stuttering on my screen.
Yeah, I think it was the in-game frame rate that fixed it for us last time.
We'll see how that goes. So so when we start this one off, I'd like to see us go out for that first hill, play towards that objective, and getting control of Nest, and then getting control of Big Door and Sandbags. And if we send one person up to get snipe instead of 3 people up to get snipe, and trying to get the first hill time, I think it's going to go a lot better for everybody if we can just get that, because they're either going to go sit on the OS, or they're going to push over towards and try to get you guys off a hill. But if we're fighting for hill, then they're not fighting for OS. And if we win that fight for hill, then we can get hill. And if we lost somebody, we can either rotate over to grab OS while scoring the hill, or the guy who's spawning can grab OS. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
So sending everybody over towards this side, and the objective here is to get spread out on both C and A sides. So having somebody up on like Nest, or having somebody back tower, and then having somebody in hill, and then somebody over in like garage in the Big Door over here, or bottom pillars. Like the bottom pillars and Big Door are kind of like your flanky angles, something to hold on to. But like it's a better opening there to be able to have that. And then if we decide we're gonna go over for OS, then everybody needs to be able to come over here and make sure that we get it and that we're not losing people. Is this gonna mess my Xbox up if I drop it?
Overshield inbound.
So like at this point, Beast, what I'd be telling you is that if we're not having success over on that OS, let's play back for the positioning so that we can continue scoring this hill. And Monkeyz is over there. He needs help. Let's just help him rotate over towards Nest, and just change our focus from being on that OS over to here. And then the other thing, Monkeyz isn't in here, but if your team is fighting over on OS side and you're by yourself over there for the hill, the better play to do over there is just to prevent them from getting in it. So playing like back green or on Nest, whatever side is closest to your team, so you can continue to have that ground for them and prevent them from scoring while your team is over there fighting for that OS. We got to do things as a team. If you do it as a team, then you're gonna have more successes there until you play against people who are just better at the strategy on the map, which in my opinion is going to be playing for that first hill. But if you're playing against people who are uncoordinated, and at least you guys are uncoordinated going over and getting the OS, you guys are gonna have more success there. So we have to play just as a team.
More where that came from.
Shot caller. Double kill.
Yeah, because I think if we sent even one person to help Monkeyz here, they have like half hill time. We have half hill time. We might have already capped this hill by now if we didn't allow them to get in at all.
Yeah, it's really uncoordinated there, and if you guys want to come over here, I think you guys would have capped this one super easy. And this happens a lot when we play live fire capture or King of the Hill, is that we don't send anybody over here. I'm actually surprised Monkeyz is standing on there because I've talked to him about that before. It's apparently going through his head now, but playing for that first hill I think is the move. And then once you're in this position where you got somebody dead over there, if your team is all on C side, it's vital that you stay alive here on Nest and even going back over towards Dice and just staying alive on C so we can continue to get this spawn. We want this mud spawn as often as we can get, unless it's the A hill. Most of the hills on this map, I'm gonna want this back mud area so I can have easy access to the hills and I can have easy access to different routes. I don't want to get trapped inside of A.
Enemy team took the hill.
I love the flank from Fulcrum here. As we're making this push over here, though, I want you to be able to see, and this would be Beast being able to see it. We're all running at this hill right now, so we're all kind of getting clustered in here. We need to be able to stay back, and so like on this position, if you see that's going on, you just need to stay back on Nest to make sure we've got that C spawn. You've already got somebody B pillars. It would look a whole lot different if you're up here on Nest. You've got guy B pillars, and then your guy goes on hill, and then the fourth guy goes over towards big door. You guys practically have the setup that we're going for, and then it's just holding those angles and making sure people stay alive. And the most important thing there is that you stay alive in these positions. So like if you're getting shots on Nest, if they're focusing you down, don't get to no shield. You want to get half shield and then try to take a different angle and look at somebody else. Are they gonna, did they back you down, so now the guy's gonna push on big door, or they back you down and now they're gonna push out on sandbags? Is your guy on pillars getting pushed? Where are they going to make that push? Because if you're playing against people who are coordinated, they're going to try to knock that first guy or bring his shields down so that they can make that push. I've talked about it like on recharge, getting the guy on attic to back down. Once he's back down, it's like he's out of the fight. Let's make the push. So in this position, if you're the guy on Nest and you get back down, I need you to be thinking, where are they going to make that push out? Are they pushing me or are they pushing somebody else? Similarly to anybody else on here. If you're the guy over on big door, and they knock your shields down, and you're able to get over into rat, or you're able to get over into concrete, where are they going to push you at? Where are they going to push somebody else at? I want you to be thinking about those things and trying to get coordinated there. But I'd tell you, when we're making this push here, because we're all at the hill, we're gonna have 3 people in there. You don't get more hill time with multiple people in there. Strongholds, you can capture it faster with multiple people. In King of the Hill, you cannot.
Hill control.
It's good angles here.
Your team scored.
Then we just gotta stay alive here. And even this position. What's that? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick. I remember that nade didn't bounce for some reason, and that nade hit. That nade did damage to me.
3-4-3.
The first nade, like it definitely should have bounced, but it just stuck into the grass at pillars.
Wonderful polished game.
I love this guy attempting to melee right
Find the
So like even in here, oops. I tried to hide that. So even like in here, I know you're trying to prevent them from scoring by being in here, but like when you're one shot, staying alive on the back of the hill is going to be better because they don't know that you're in there. So you can play up against like a wall, and you can go, okay, I'm going to watch Nest because I know somebody was pushing me from here, so I'm going to prevent this guy from coming down there. Or you can play back on this side and make sure that the guy on concrete or sandbags isn't going to push without them knowing that you're in it. If you're scoring it, they know that you're in it, and if they have eyes on both dark and light side, they know you're down here in the cubby, and they're just going to nade you out or come kill you. You're just delaying your death so that when your team comes off spawn, you guys still have a guy in death screen, and they're able to just get that much more time there. And so like right here, playing your life is actually staying out and alive, even getting out into a position like back over here on the spike nade, so you can stay alive and wait to play your life here. If they don't come look for you, that's an easy just flank kill them and start scoring it. So when that happens, when your team collapses like that, this is where I'm telling you don't need to just jump in this hill. If you guys all die here and they score it, you guys didn't lose because you died inside, you know, on the back of the hill. You guys died because you didn't have coordination here. Nice mind the gap. Oh, almost got the 360 medal.
Yeah. Enemy team took the hill.
Only spun halfway.
Now we're 3 dead there. Fulcrum trying to challenge.
About to score.
If you would have stayed alive there, you and Fulcrum both would have been able to challenge a little bit more there and prevent them from getting such a score here. So that's what I want you to try to think about. How many people are alive, and watching your kill feed is such a skill in this game. And if you can start practicing watching the kill feed, when you guys are down on kills, you need to play more conservative, more turtle. Try to get in there, try to stay alive more, so you can make a play like in a minute. Like you can't make a play right there. Like you can't force that. That would have been a huge play if you got your shields back. Fulcrum jumps up there. You guys are in a 2v3 and like you're able to put a couple shots in. You get your next spawner in. Like I can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Overshield inbound.
I love the sense of urgency to get over here to get in the hill. Oh, thank God. Yes, nice. Good job, everybody.
Overshield available.
I'm gonna figure out why my capture card's stuttering. I apologize for tonight.
Hill control. Enemy team took the hill. Your team scored.
That's a huge score. I don't want you to feel. It was good. It was a good play to get on there and challenge it. Similar to what I was just saying about staying alive there. Those hills should not come down to like a split second like that. The way that you're playing that is like it's overtime. It's on, you know, the national championship. You're up on the main stage, and you guys, if you guys would have played more coordinated before that and had the control there, you wouldn't have had to been in that position. And if I think on that last one, if you would have just stepped off of it just to stay alive and not take those nades, you would have at least lived, and then you could have rotated to the next hill. But now you guys are 3 dead.
I was just worried about them contesting right there, and
Yeah.
like I felt like if I stepped out to not get naded there, they might have stolen it. So
They will, and what I want you to be able to see from that, I mean it's a really good possibility. They're also running at it. What I want you to see from it, and the bad habit I want to iron out, is that it's not that exact moment that lost you the hill. It's all the decisions leading up to it. And so we got to go back and look at the other decisions of, one, fighting for the OS off the beginning instead of that hill. If you guys would have fought for that hill off the beginning, I think you guys would have had it, you know, a lot sooner. The next one is that when you guys were pushing, you guys didn't have anybody who was establishing any ground or any space. You guys were just running at it. And then trying to stay staying on it until you die. So those are the decisions that we can try to iron out for the next time, so that we're not in that position where it's a sliver for each team just to jump on it, right?
yeah, and I should have never stepped in bottom green there, but then I had to commit to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I should have like stepped on one of the wings, and then I could have lived.
Yeah, so you see it, and now what we do with this is we grow, and the next time that comes around, we try to not get ourselves into that position. It's the Lego blocks. It's the Lego blocks of Halo. You just start to put the pieces together and go, hey, this is how it works. So
Hill control.
even at like right here, all this extra scrap time, and you're gonna see this theme a lot because I already watched this game. There's a lot of times where you are the last guy alive or one of the last guys alive, and you decide to like make this play where you're trying to score, and you get like 1 or 2 seconds, but then you die, and it puts you on a 10-second respawn, so that the enemy team now they're able to sit there and score off of it. So like, and that you get that perfect spawn right there, and you spawn in your teammate back mud. Instead of being that aggressive where you're overly committed to a hill, I want you to be overly committed to the position and get your team in there first. Rely on your team.
I just ratted in tower because everyone was dead.
100%. Get control of the tower. Get control of the back mud area. If I can get to the. Okay, thank you. This position back here is super good to have. Like you get this back 90. and you can contest hill, you can contest tower, you can get under here and make sure they can't push from green. Like there's just a lot more you can do there. And so yeah, I want you to wrap more there. You were gifted that great spawn. Unfortunately, your team was dead. Shmiel doing work here.
Yeah, that could be a huge play there if you're able to wrap back tower
Yeah,
and wait long enough.
I
to
knew
push.
as soon as I stepped in that, oh, now all 3 of the guys alive are gonna shoot at me because they know exactly where I'm at.
And I want you to see that. I want you to see this here. So Shmiel gets 3 kills. I thought he got 3 kills, but there's 2 people alive. There's 2 people alive right now. So you're gonna lose the guy top mid, and then he's gonna get chowed here. So he gets back smacked. There was 2 deaths. He got the back smack, and you guys got another kill. So they're coming off a spawn right now, and you spawn B. You got people pushing C. So where are they gonna be spawning at?
Well, they could spawn back tower because they have a guy there.
They could spawn back tower. They could spawn most likely because you're about to block it. I'd be looking at either A or dummies. Dummies because he's there, but you also have other teammates there, so they might block that. So looking at A. So when you come around this, because I talked about this last time about, okay, we can't be in every position at the same time. We gotta work with what we've got. You've got guys already over there on tower, and so like if you let them push and you actually turn around and start contesting the guys over on A side, and you already see that one spawning there. If you turn around and start contesting the next guy, you're giving your team space to start working here. So if you look at that guy who spawns up, I'm gonna wait till that body spawns. The other guy spawned A too. So you got 2 guys on A. Last body is over there on dummies. He dies. So now they're all gonna be spawning A. What I wanted you to be able to see there, a lot of times this map almost feels like. Let me pull up the. Let me flip windows here. I don't have a it almost feels like on this map to me that you're like where you should be paying attention to spawns is actually, instead of being like quadrants like this, where's my eraser? It's almost what am I trying to draw here? So it's almost like this is a spawn, and then this is a spawn. So it's almost like these are the 3 major spawns. There's some in between them, but like if you've got teammates on C and you spawn B, they're probably A. If you're on A and you got teammates C, they're probably B. And this is kind of how I shut down this. I hate sandbags. Sandbags to me, when I first played this map, this is where I died all the time. I'd go here every single time and they'd shoot me in the back. You have to pay attention to where your teammates are at. And so what I want you to be able to see on what you just did there is that when you are out here on B and your teammates are up on C, even though they're fighting someone there, you got nobody on A, and the game is going to look at that and go, hey, A is open. And so when you make that push up on the nest, you should be able to turn around and shut down this whole, oh, you're on the wrong team now. Oh, no, you're on the right team. You can shut this whole thing down. Like you can block B and you can shoot over towards A. So it allows your teammates to set up over there on C. And that's, I want you to be able to see kind of this in your head a little bit. This little weird triangle. That if you're spawning B there, you're C, they might be A. Like if there's no one there, it's open. So try to think about that on that kind of angle that you can take there.
S7
All right, then we
sniper.
get up here.
The end.
I haven't about
Yo.
I apologize for my computer tonight. It has a mind of its own.
Have you tried updating it?
No, I restarted it before stream because it was doing this when I was talking to you. So I haven't gotten to before we continue this one. I haven't gotten with you yet, Beast, to talking about fights that you're taking just yet. Because the bigger bad habit that I'm seeing is when you put yourself like in a 1v4 or 1v3, like when you're the last guy alive, instead of getting those spawns for your team, you just give up your life. I need you to play your life more. But I do want you to also think about how many times you're challenging like multiple people on your screen. So like that fight top mid, that guy has sniper. One, if someone has a sniper, they have a power weapon on you, you got to respect them and not challenge them like you did. If the guy was better, you would have just had your head ripped. But the second thing is that he's also got backup there, and you're challenging both of them. I know the guy was one shot, but you just lost Monkeyz, and so it's vital that you actually hit that guy who's one shot so that your team doesn't lose its advantage. Because if you die and Monkeyz die, Fulcrum is now in that hill in a bad position, and he has to try to get out of the hill to try to hold on to that spawn for your team and not die while getting pushed by the enemy team. And so like on those kind of a positions, I need you to not overly challenge that, and then communicate to Fulcrum like, hey, get out of hill and go to dummies or go cuts. I need help here, or something there differently than scoring and getting shot by a sniper. But I more want you to pay attention to how many times, like right now. Let's rat.
Your team about to score. Enemy team
Can you hit it?
took the hill.
Damn. We tried. I'm glad you took a different angle there. So when you have a guy there, like the angle that you're taking there, on that, this ramp here is super easy to nade. If they just bounce a nade off of this ramp right here, about on these yellow lines, if it's on the yellow lines, it's going to explode shallow. If it's closer towards the top, it's gonna go deep. And if they hit this plane here, the ground, it's actually just going to go straight over and land about your yellow lines, which is what made you one shot there. So making that push there when you don't control dummies is actually really hard, especially if they know that you're back there. And so opting to take like a wider angle on the outside instead of up against the wall is probably better. Also up here, and I don't know, have you ever gone out to this position and seen that you can see over the turbine and everything through this wall? Yeah. So this is a really, really handy position to be able to go to, and I push up on these more so on the outside over here because I can't get repulsed off, and those nades are mostly going to miss because the trajectory of those nades is actually like in a straight line from like here. So like everything down the center of my screen is like a death zone for grenades depending upon where they throw them, whereas if I'm over here, it's a lot harder to throw the grenades that are going to bounce over here, so I can live through those. But then going back, I'm glad that you didn't re-challenge there. That's how you should be playing that, is ratting out. Because now, if you see this, you've pulled these two guys away from the hill to the back of tower. Yeah, you're probably going to die here, but those guys are now not in a position to score right off the rip, right off of killing you. And so your team is now able to start scoring that or collapse on those guys and maintain that control of the map. You've done a really good job here of pulling those guys over here.
Yeah, and if I hit the jump, I live.
If you hit the jump, you live, and they're out of position. Exactly.
Confirmed.
Did he hit it? Nice. Let's go, Fulcrum.
Overshield available.
I also want you guys to see we haven't had any control over the map, so I haven't even been able to talk to you about trying to go for the OS because we've been so scrappy and whatnot. We need to really bolt down, get the position here so that we can then go and slay and go get the power up. And that whole exchange there, we didn't have an opportunity to be able to rotate off of here and get the OS. And I don't think we even looked at the last OS. So they've had two of the OS. I think you guys got the first one actually, even though everybody was dead. We really need to focus on getting the control of the map here and not dying, so that we can get into those positions to score and get into those positions to be able to get the power weapons.
Your team.
Hello. The guy went flying.
Incoming. Hill ready.
Those were two. That was a good end of that hill. Is Schmiel your guys' friend? Were you guys running into a 4-stack? Okay.
Yeah,
I thought I saw his name before.
Hill
Yeah, he
control.
hasn't played in a long time. We lost like our first 4 games the other day, but then we went on a bit of a roll.
That's all good. Alright, so Fulcrum dies.
Perforated.
And now right now we're just trying to get control over here. So they're pushing on B side. They're probably gonna get mud and B spawns right now.
No scope.
Except for that guy who gets a back tower spawn and pushes up on you.
There's more where that came from.
There is a lot of scrapping going on. So throughout that whole sequence, just so you guys can see, they got a back tower spawn and then you guys got a back tower spawn. And now, because of where they're at, you're probably gonna get a back tower spawn. Close enough on dummies.
Obtained. Red allergy confirmed.
Enemy about to score.
Power item in the field.
Hill control.
We're gonna go look at that.
Red allergy confirmed.
Enemy
So OS is
about
up.
to score.
Power item.
We were sort of in a position with Monkeyz out when both of you guys were on cuts. It was 4 seconds till it spawned, so we could have gone for that. And even right here,
Hill control.
all right, never mind. You guys got the OS. I was gonna say chasing that kill wasn't worth it, but then the OS was up.
Enemy team took the hill. Enemy team scored. Hill incoming. Hill ready.
They spawned green there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what. Because I think we thought we had time to get the OS and still get in hill, and that was not the
Your
case.
team about to score.
Because we get double nated here.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. The whole theme that I'm seeing on each of these hills is that we don't have a lot of setup. We're just kind of whoever's closest to the hill is jumping in the hill, and then we're trying to get kills from there. And so what we really need to do is get areas around the hill and try to own it and stay alive so that our team can know where they're spawning at. Like if we've got somebody who's in hill, you've got somebody out on turbine or out on big door, you got a guy on sandbags and your other guy on like A door green side. Like you should start to know where they're going to spawn at. Like right now we don't know where they're spawning at, which is why you jump right up into a grenade there.
Who's on tower right now? I need to chat with them.
Monkeyz.
Monkeyz. Okay.
Yeah. That's the other the quickness of how to get to hill. I mean, we got OS and we're running towards C.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's not always like one person's fault, but
Yeah.
it's
I
a
was
theme that I've talked to
expecting
him
people
about.
follow me up there.
I've talked to him about getting to the objective a lot faster.
Especially a clock scenario, like because
Yeah.
we're almost capping it, and we just gotta finish it off. And
Sort of. The other thing I would say is that you've got the power weapon and you're taking these like extreme angle, like you're putting yourself in danger too much. I'd rather see you like on an A window where you can challenge this hill and you can shut it down and you can shut down other angles instead of being the guy who's on it, because if you're on it you got to be aware of so many more angles because they know where you're at, you don't know where they're at. Again, this is really close where they can jump on it, but we don't need to be in that position.
okay, because I know they backed Folk down, and I knew if they stepped in, the hill is lost. But
Yeah.
it's probably already lost.
This would also be completely different if your OS guy was with you and he was the one jumping up there and you were the one on a window and he's got OS in here, and then you rotate, back, the back wall and then rip their heads or something. So there's a coordination issue here. Most of that Monkeyz did not come over here with the OS.
Enemy team took the hill. Enemy team scored. Hill incoming.
So Monkeyz, if you're watching the replay, thank you. But all right, so now we got a tower spawn here, and we're just coming off of 3 dead. So I want you to, what do I want you to do? I'll let you answer it.
Well, tower is kind of what we want here because we want to hold, holding sandbags and C-plat is pretty ideal for this hill, or both the key doors and dummy door.
Yep. So tower or back mud, back tower somewhere in here, so you can get shots on them and try to back them down. I mean,
back them down and live.
Yeah, from here you can control some of the hill, but like they can just run up on it. However, if they're right up on it, you know where they're at. You can push a guy cuts, you can push a guy dummies. This is an easy nade to hit. This guy's dead. You can throw grenades against the back of the wall here. I believe if you throw them up against the yellow here, they will bounce about here and then they'll blow it. So you can hit that guy with grenades. Okay.
Yo, yo, yo.
I swear, Fulcrum, this is not how class goes every week.
Oh, you're fine, bro.
This is ridiculous. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's totally fine.
Every 15 minutes it zaps my ear and then it cuts it. Okay, and the Discord just crashed there. Okay. Well, I was saying, so you
This
can
is only what the trial period looks like.
so you can nade behind there and get this guy. What I want you to be able to know is that, like, when you're the first spawner, we got to get a base so that our team can have somewhere to fight from. Because if you run in and die here, then your team has to then establish a base. And if they just run in and die, the next guy has to establish a base. Like, the first guy has to establish something. Like, I want to get a base first, then I want to get space, then I want to get a pick and play for that objective. So you've got this great easy access to tower. I want you to play top tower, or I want you to play back something to aim at that hill and make sure that they can't run from dummies, that they can't live easily in there, and you can also learn a couple grenades and whatnot. So that's what I want you to be doing from over here. You can also then look over towards sandbags. You can get over there. But if I'm looking around where people are right now, they sent somebody who got in between everybody. So now your 2 guys back tower are gonna have to deal with him. You're 1 shot on cuts, thinking you have help, but you don't. You're 2 dead with you 1 shot. And now you're last alive in your 1 shot. You're doing a good job of trying to run around here and try to get a different angle. But if I go back, what I do differently here is you're on tower. So chill here for a minute. Fulcrum. This is, I don't know if you watched that. I think I talked about inside outside angles on that 10-minute video. One of the concepts I talk about is inside and outside angles. If you take this outside angle by going over towards back tower, you're out of the fight and you're not getting any new space for your team. You've already got a teammate up on tower, so instead of going that way, we can go towards middle and we can fight for bottom mid, so you guys are both pinching in here on dummies. You can get more space, you can get into the battle a lot quicker. So I want everybody to be focused on how do I get to the objective faster and get positioning for my team. And what's going to happen as you watch these Fulcrum and you get into more classes is you'll start to fill in a way to help your team kind of spread out, so that you individually need to be able to own your space, but as a team you can also dominate. And So if you go bottom underneath, you push out towards dummies. If and Fulcrum or B stays back on tower. Who's our third spawner?
Enemy team took the hill.
Yeah, that's something I need to fix because I like to come out to this elbow and shoot from here a lot on this hill.
Yeah.
But I need to break those some of those habits and start thinking differently. I too often like go with like right off a spawn I have like something I usually do.
Yep.
And I need to stop doing that and start looking more at where my teammates are and what the better play for that moment is.
Ideally, you should be able to fight off of any spawn that you have and have multiple routes that you're going to take. I try to have 2 or 3 in my pocket of like how I'm going to play it. I'm now getting older, and so now I really have just like 1 route off of each spawn, but I have a route off of each spawn, and it's really filling into where my team, doesn't have. So if I look at this, if you were bottom mid, you'd be getting challenged right now by these guys, but you could still pull back to like be pillars and then push over towards sandbag. Like there's different options that you've got there. So you take a really delayed approach to this, and you get here, and then Beast is too quick to get in before you guys have anything, because you guys have 2 guys spawning mud. They're not in this fight just yet. And so Beast, if you're gonna push off a tower, like here, your thought needs to be either getting to cuts to start to challenge this, or even getting over to sandbags. And the reason I'm going to say sandbags is because these guys right now only have 90 degrees on their screen to have to fight. It's literally what's in front of them. They're only going to flick back and forth between that little 90-degree pie that's in front of them. There's nothing else that they have to be worried about. If you flip behind them, now you add in almost 180 degrees that they have to be worried about right here. And you guys don't have any picks yet, so we don't have to be worried about spawners. So there's not going to be anybody pushing behind you. And if there's somebody over on B, there's no reason that you guys shouldn't be on this hill already, if there's someone that out of position. So as a team, we need to be able to see this. And if Fulcrum, if you see that you're pushing up behind Beast, we got to communicate where we're at and sometimes direct the people in front of you on where we should be going. Like here, we got to be saying, like, go to sandbags and make that push. And then when Monkeyz and Schmiel both spawn in, one of them needs to go over towards B pillars up to sandbags, and the other one should be going like bottom mid. We already have this tower up here, and then we coordinate our push in there. So we're a little bit uncoordinated here, and not pushing the same. And then what happens is, Fulcrum, you said this is like the angle that you always go to. You end up dying, Monkeyz end up dying, and then Schmiel, he does get up to sandbags, but he unfortunately dies too. And then we're left with Beast being one shot, and that's just unfortunate. At some point, we gotta look at it and go, okay, we gotta just move on, right, to the next hill or. And like, and this, the thought process I've got right here, if I see that 2 of my teammates died, I got 1 teammate up above me and I'm challenging these 2 guys here, is not to push this hill. It's simply going to be to kill these guys and get to the next one, which is what you do. So it's huge to put that damage into them. Unfortunately, you don't get the kill, but there ain't a whole lot else that we can do there. Good old Monkeyz flying in. Let's go. All right, then here, what does Fulcrum drop? No, you stayed up. That's a lot of unfortunate right there. Only thing I'd say is that when you made that push from sandbags up to top mid, you pulled yourself out of the fight again, where they could have needed you for that, but you guys were just in a really unfortunate predicament there. They were really pushing on that hill.
Yeah, that nade barely clipped me to keep my shield low.
Yeah.
Back. He'll cycle in.
Overshield available.
Hill controlled. Enemy about to
We're gonna watch this. We're gonna watch this hill from third person. So there's an unfortunate off of this kind of a spawn here. One, I need you to own, like, you spawn there and then that guy kills you. So I don't know if there's like a missed call out or what, but we gotta own where we spawn so we don't just spawn in and die like that. That's unfortunate that happens, and that's a huge miscommunication somewhere. I don't know if someone just didn't call that out or what, but you flying out there and then getting shot from behind off your spawn is poop. But because of that, they're getting all this hill time. You can see that they already got a quarter of the hill. If we're able to put shots into that guy up on the hill and keep him out of it, like at least keeping him backing down, we're gonna be able to rotate off of this. I don't want to have A side on this. I want to have the C side. So what you should be doing here, if we're shooting the guy in the hill to keep him out of it, is that they shouldn't have all this much time. They might have like maybe half of what they've got right now or a little bit of scrap time. If that's the case and they got only a little bit of time, off of this spawn, I want you to go through green up to nest and behind tower to take the tower from the guys. Like, we gotta get to back tower and get them, unwedge them from that area. Unfortunately, right now they've got a quarter of the hill already. They've got control of it, and we've got 2 dead. So you have to fly up at this, and we've got to take a route like as quickly as possible. So either going out to concrete up there, we got to challenge the hill at this point. And we got to make sure that they're staying out of it. We're tied. We've got 3 minutes left, so we don't have to like race for this, but we gotta stop them from getting it. Yes, you've got 3 minutes, but they only have to hold it for about 30 seconds, 25 to 30 seconds in there, somewhere around there. It's 45 seconds for the whole hill. So
Overshield
we get
available.
this, but like at this point, we shouldn't be jumping into it because we don't have any control yet. So if they're all off of it, they're going to be going for OS. We need to be getting green gun right now or getting our spawners in. And so I'd be, curb sliding over to see tower. Like, I want you to get to tower at this point to get them out of it. Like, if they're going to have the advantage of the position and the advantage of the OS, I'm going to be very sad. So like, that's what I want you to be pushing right now. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we're down. So like, and that's a community, like we haven't all been playing for the same objective this entire game. So like, that's one thing to communicate to everybody. Like, if we're gonna do something, don't argue about it in game. If somebody's already fighting for the OS, let's go fight for OS. If somebody's already fighting for the hill, let's go fight for the hill. And then as a team, let's go afterwards and go, hey, it's not your fault that we lost, but we made this decision to go here at this moment, and we should have been doing X instead of Y. But also having in your head, like, we should be fighting for this back. Like, we got to get this C tower. Well, spawn here. That's nice. Let's go. Great spawn. We got Schmiel coming in. Let's go.
about to score. Double kill.
Huge double.
Hill control.
Right here, if Schmiel's over there, because he's gonna get challenged from A, I'd be telling him to get into hill and Fulcrum rotate over towards nest, just so that they can open that spawn for A and we can wait for him. And then Fulcrum can be looking out on turbine, or he can go out on nest and look for that B spawn, something like that. We don't want to have Schmiel all the way up there though, because he's gonna start to influence spawns so that they don't spawn A. And I really want you just to be focused on being able to look down mid. And somebody at Monkeyz. The whole purpose of having this tower is to be able to have the upper hand, like the high ground on these guys, and be able to rain shots down. Unfortunately, you're one shot right now, and your guy in hill's one shot. So like, your guys' positioning has no advantage to your team right now. So I need Beast to not take so much damage up here, and then Fulcrum, if we're in hill and we take that damage there, just sneak out over towards cuts, or even drop bottom mid, like in this cubby here. There is a grenade that they can throw on this cubby to have it land in there and on you. But if you're listening to audio cues or watching in front of you, you'll see it and you can drop to get out of its way. If they throw a bad nade and it follows you all the way down there, then you just know they don't know how to throw the nade. But if they know how to throw the nade, you can just drop down and you can live to rotate back into this. We don't need to play. We should not have to be playing the scrappy just to get the hill. Staying alive here, or knowing that if you can get your shields back and you can get the pressure off of Beast by challenging out a little bit, and then Beast gets his back. You guys aren't able to challenge together right now. Is the sad part? You both are weak. And then unfortunately Monkeyz is back here, where he should be like a C plat or something.
And I think this was like a similar situation to that first hill with Beast, where like I think I felt worried here that they were so close to capping this hill that we had already played this hill so bad that it was another one of those situations where I felt like I didn't have time. If I did drop out, that they maybe would have capped the hill by the time I was able to get back in the fight. But that's just, again,
and that's
like you said, we weren't playing it well up until this
you
point.
gotta, still play good Halo even in terrible situations, and that's how you come back.
Yeah. And we're all, and like nobody's perfect. At least we're not. Maybe when you get up to Phase or Sentinels, they sort of get to be perfect. But like we gotta not play bad Halo. And so when we're in those situations, I don't want you to have that mindset of, oh my god, we have to play for this or they're gonna get into it, because then you're gonna put yourself in a bad position when these guys are not that smart about the way that they're playing. I mean, the last hill they had 3 fucking guys standing on it. So if like we could coordinate a little bit on a push, like that's shooting fish in a barrel. That's super easy to nade and clean up or whatever. And right here, you guys have the better position. It's just you guys took too much damage. So like on this, instead of standing in the middle, Beast, I need you to like play off of this wall, off this pillar, and actually jiggle peek them and play them, or off the back of the play this wall. Like we got to play our walls here so that we have the advantage of being able to put shots in them. The best that they can do right now is just stop the hill from getting capped so they can stand in it. If that guy is standing in this hill and you can't see him, the only place that he could be is in this corner right here. And we need to learn the grenades to be able to throw over there and hit that. And same thing with Fulcrum. If that's the case, then Fulcrum needs to challenge this guy, and if he's in that corner, what Fulcrum can do is put himself over in this corner so that it's cutting off the guy on the right, so he has to jump up and out, and you can shoot the guy over here, and then you can come back. Like we got to do something. We got to work together to try to pull these guys out of their positions and be able to shoot them. Unfortunately, we've taken too much damage. And then the other communication would be to Monkeyz of, we don't need somebody else top tower, because we're going to need somebody to help Fulcrum if he has to get out of this tower. Like if he's got to go back cuts, I don't want him to get chased, so we need somebody else to jump on the hill. Or Monkeyz can jump up here. And also, if you've got 3 people standing right here and you can't win if you guys can't win a 3v2, like I'm going to ban you from my classes. Are you kidding me? We should be able to win that. Shmeel's playing off on cuts, and he's not in here, but I mean he's playing off on cuts, so he's trying to help. He should be rotating in and out. But that's kind of what's going on right now. That even though we've got these positions, we can't even use them.
Yeah. And us getting wiped here just gives them a better setup for the next hill. Like you said, if I live there, like I need to be thinking about that. If I die there, I'm just giving them a better position for the next hill.
Yeah. So you're taking too much nade, like those nades there, unnecessary, because you're just trying to predict those guys. You can hold on to those nades because you could throw them right here, or just stay alive. And Beast being way out and exposed here, challenging 2 people, no bueno. And when this happens, like honestly, if Monkeyz is behind you and he's like, hey, I got top tower, like he's gonna play it, you drop. There's no reason that you guys 3v2 shouldn't be able to win these 2 guys here, because 2 guys are flanking you. So Shmeel's out of the fight. He needs to get back in that's what we need to be looking at here. Like we got people out of the fight. We need to be more aggressive into the hill and looking for those flankers. But because we've got 2 guys trying to play tower, we've got lanes open right now. We've got nobody looking over towards nest. We got nobody. We're already covering cuts, but we got nobody looking underneath for the dummies push. We got nobody looking over for the back tower or the nest push. So we're kind of doubled up for no reason over here, and then over challenging. So those are learning opportunities, and so like the next time we're here and staying alive more. I think that's the bigger thing there.
Took the hill.
Yeah, definitely was not aware of that flank.
Enemy team scored.
And that's happened a couple times, especially on like C tower.
Sniper available.
Hill ready. Enemy team took the hill. Hill control.
All right, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
All
That
right.
guy bamboozled us.
let me share this. All right. So we're back on the first hill. We've got, I think that it's something like this. You guys have two people over here anyway. My PC is fighting me tonight. Good Lord. So regardless of like what's going on this map, this guy over here, he's one shot when you're chasing him, right? Like when he drops down.
Doesn't drop down.
Yeah, he did.
Later. Not when I thought he did, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. So he didn't drop down at first, but then like the second time that he drops down. Yeah, and he kills Schmiel. So he comes over, Schmiel's over here, he dies, and this guy's one shot down here and you're up above him. This kind of a kill right here is something I need you to recognize, that the furthest point away from this objective is this whole area back here. So if I can get them to spawn there, that's a plus for my team. The only route that this guy has, like the three things he could do, he could go through cuts, he could go bottom mid through rat, he could go bottom mid to B pillar. Those are most likely what he's gonna do. I mean, if he comes all the way back and jumps up and then up, but like those are the only things that he could do. The amount of time it's gonna take him to do literally any of that is a lot longer than you just rotating over to like big door and catching him in pillars, or rotating over towards B pillars and catching him here, or rotating over towards nest, like helping your guy on the objective. This guy's one shot, so most likely he's gonna go like underneath and he's just gonna like go onto the heat wave and regen. Well, this is gonna influence the game to have somebody spawn over here. What I want you to see is that if there's somebody on the opposite side of the map that's not gonna be able to kill you, especially when he drops like that, leave the guy, just leave him. We can go play towards the objective and start to play with our teammate over here instead, because if he gets back in the fight and it was too quick, he's going to be half shield. So the communication is one shot on key door, and if the person on your team in the hill is paying attention, that call out means that he should be positioning himself to cut off the angle from A or the angle from pillars, one of the two, so that he can look at the other one. So if I'm trying to cut off the guy from, if he's coming garage, I'm gonna go on the light side if I've got teammates over there and look towards pillars. Or if I don't have people on that side because you guys are on A right now, I'm gonna go on the dark side to cut off the B pillar angle, and then I'm gonna look back towards rat tunnel. I gotta position myself so I can pick up that kill, and then you can come out and you can try to look for the next guy, on B pillars or something. Like, you got to do more there than chase that one shot right there.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's if he's aggressive. He's coming out and he's gonna get killed by you guys. If he's not aggressive and he reshields, he's out of the fight for another 10 seconds. You can look for somebody else to kill, and if you kill that guy, then they're on rotating spawns and you guys have the advantage. Now you can keep scoring that objective. You follow?
Mm-hmm.
So I need you to have like all of that information in your head, like right when that happens, like when he jumps off one shot. We need to get to that point. Mostly what I want you to be able to see is if it's on the opposite side of the map from where you're scoring and somebody gets away and he's not a threat to you anymore, direct threat, then let's look for the next threat. Let's get out of there and try to help our teammate there. Okay. So back. And I will just for kicks and giggles here. So if right here, instead of chasing that guy, unfortunately he kills Shmuel. That's just sad. But if right here you turned over, Monkeyz is fighting the guy on B, you would have been fighting this guy with him. You probably would have been putting the first 1 or 2 shots into this guy, so you would have been able to help Monkeyz here. That guy would have been getting roasted. You'd be jumping into a hill. Like, that's what I want you to be able to see there. And then this guy would be, you know, wherever he is. And then Fulcrum comes out on B pillars. That's a whole different situation there.
Yeah.
I love it. We get control of this back mud area. Get our shields back. Let's start looking for a kill. This is huge. Let's start cutting off an angle. It was like you kind of knew to look for that guy. Super Chuck needs to get a new controller. Look at this teamwork. Let's go. Monkeyz jumps right on that. And then you rotate. Let's everybody give yourself a pat on the back. That was good. Like we bait and switch. You should not be alive. We bait and switch. But I think the better thing there, and I want you to be able to see, is that he came over to help you and you stayed alive and then you rotated into the hills. So like everybody's doing their part there. And if you look, before Fulcrum continues his thought, we've got a guy on mud, we got a guy on nest, we've got a guy in the hill, and then you got a guy on big door. Now, we need to play these positions a little bit better. Like the guy on big door, I think this is Fulcrum. There's a whole...
I got flanked here.
If we're gonna play like this, and I don't disagree with the angle that you're taking, we play up towards concrete right here. Protect your back.
Gotcha.
This spot right here, APG played this so often with everybody yelling that he needs to get dropped. He would play an angle like this, and what this angle does is it causes you to be able to shut down any of their pushes. So if somebody pushes out from big door, not only does this guy have to look at the hill and nest and pillars, he now has to look all the way over here. And this is such a stupid angle to have to check before you push out. This is such a stupid angle to look at, because you're having to worry about this 90 degrees and then this 90 degrees and then this, whatever, 180 plus 90 to 270. You have to worry about 270 degrees of everything around you. Stupid. The other thing it does is that if someone's pushing down from sandbags, they have to be worried about 360 because they have to look right, they have to go this way. It's just a stupid. So what you're trying to do there, I love the thought process here, but the position is bad. So we have to change that. Yeah. Accomplish that from over here. And what you're doing is pulling them into the fight, and you're going to put shots in behind them so that they can't just shoot everything on their screen. I love where you're I love where you're trying to go there. Shmuel over here, if he could just get into similarly this position here and look towards look over at B pillar, he prevents people from being able to push out of this door. He also has got an angle. If somebody is bottom mud can't push. Bottom mud can put pressure on, and the guy in the hill has to be aware that he can't peek this because the guy's got free roam over everything on my screen in front of me, but he can't push. So if he gets on the dark side or if he gets on the back side, like, he can stay alive over here while he's got this angle right here. If they push out onto Nest, if they push a couple people over there, Shmuel has an idea to be able to go back behind them and be able to put shots in from behind them. Like, there's just a lot of different things that we can do here, and you guys naturally just kind of fill into this. Like, this is what we've got here. This is for the most part the kind of setup that I want you guys to be able to push for. We just need to have the coordination from here, and I don't want to hit play because I don't want to see this get destroyed. What were you gonna say, Fulcrum?
I was gonna say, just earlier about I think one of the really nice things about that position switch too is I don't think we calmed that. It was just like a really good instinctual team moment whenever they switch positions like that.
I was definitely calling for help on that nest box guy.
Yeah,
like, screaming, but.
And this stuff is gonna happen more, and I try to pause it and show these moments because I want you guys to see the growth that is happening. When we first go through gameplay, and people have never had the concept of quadrant or positioning or trying to figure out what lanes to be able to push and hold, because there is teamwork to be had in this game. Like, you should be shooting people together, but like, if you're having to hump your teammate the entire game, you're not playing good Halo. You're just getting carried. You should be able to spread out, and the most dominant Halo is when you own 75% of the map, everybody's in their own position, and you guys are able to just keep slaying. It's not going to really happen that way. Like, if you look at most maps, if you own 75%, like, there's no way that they're not going to double or triple team you and like just take you over. So like, that's not going to happen. But when we have these moments where we fill in, we trust our teammates, and we start to get each other's backs, this is when beautiful Halo is played. And so that's why I try to hit on, you play for the position, you play for the pick, and then you play for that objective. So we're playing for these positions here. Now we're all trying to figure out where's that pick coming from. And if they're not coordinated, if someone steps out on sandbags right now, you've got the guy on B who can shoot sandbags, you've got the guy on bottom nest who can shoot sandbags, and then if Fulcrum pushes up to this box here, he can peek out and shoot sandbags. If that sandbags guy peeks out, he's melted within 2 shots, you know, the time to do 2 shots if everybody hits theirs. And then you guys are up on a kill there. Then you can get the objective. Like, that's what I want you guys to be able to see there and play for. So that's why I stop it there, and it's so sad that you're about to get back smacked.
Maybe I ninja.
I like right there that's a bad habit that we gotta we're gonna iron that out at some point, Beast, is how many times you just take shots from everybody on the map. One OS guy, you shouldn't be just, you know, challenging him. If he just turns towards you, he's gonna win that. We got to be super annoying back here. I want you to try to stay alive more here. But also, like, you guys you just lost control. Fulcrum died, and you're up on the top of B. Like, that's just sad there. So you guys are getting get the position part down. Now we got to work on, let's get that pick. And as we get more developed here, and I've kind of figured this out with Vibrant. Once we get the positioning figured out, once we get okay, I spawn in, where do I fill into? How do I get the better angle to get back into the fight? How do I get to the objective really fast? How do I continue to put shots into people? Once we get past that, then I want people to get super aggressive and start to make really bad plays that way of being overly aggressive, so we can start to talk about what fights should you not have taken and what fights should you have taken because it's important for the positioning on the map to prevent them from being able to push or being able to keep your team scoring or in a better position. You know, I want you to get super aggressive there, because the aggressive will pull out bad gameplay, and then we iron out the bad gameplay again. And it's just a rinse and repeat of how do we get that bad gameplay to come out, iron it out, and move on to the next part. And so we'll get there at some point. I'm gonna ask before this even goes any farther. What was something else that you could have done instead of going up here to sandbags? You spawn dummies.
Nest. Back tower, mud, get to canal.
Nope. Now I'm worried you don't even know the area on the map exists. From dummies to get to B faster.
Right, 2 pillars.
Yeah, bottom into pillar. So let me. I'll show you the spawn. Come on. It's almost like when what happened with Fulcrum. So you spawn here, Fulcrum's pushing out on over towards Nest. So either help Fulcrum on this kill here. Like we can double team this. Like when we're making the push, we can double team. That's easy. But the other idea is that you could go pillars. Trust that he's gonna win that, and you kind of play a delay off of this so that you can keep the pressure on. Like I want you to look at that objective to keep them. If these guys are gonna score it, they're gonna score it down in that pit, not up on the top. And so you can put the pressure on from here, and then you can wait for Monkeyz and Schmiel to make their pushes. And I think just how Monkeyz plays, if he sees that Sandbags is open, he's going to go there instead of making this weird route where he went like through window. And then like, I think he was going against the, like he was just the slowest that he could be over there. But just trying to get into that fight a lot quicker. I know you go get, oh, and then Fulcrum doesn't even go that way. Uh-oh. Okay, maybe you should have helped Fulcrum here. Anyway, we're like fighting a ghost over. Oh, that was Schmiel against the wall. We're fighting a ghost over here on A. We're not ready for this fight over on B, and they're getting a lot. Each of these hills, they get a lot of scrap time of just being able to just live on it. And if like somebody would just put shots into them and like get them off for a second or two, a lot of these hills would not be as close as they were. But we get the pick there, and so what happens when we get a pick? What should we be doing?
Why?
We should be flying, but unfortunately, Schmiel's one shot. Monkeyz is just getting out to be in the fight. You're just getting out to be in the fight, and then Fulcrum is also not in the fight. So like no one was there to be able to pick up on that, so we're not able to do the flying just yet. But if we would have gone back and look at this, you spawn in on dummies. Say you go up to dice with him, and you're able to push out on Nest. If both of you are there, you guys got this pick. Schmiel gets his pick. That's 2 people dead. You guys are 4 alive, and you guys fly at this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I think we were a little concerned that we split spawned, and
yeah,
I think we were just trying to figure out why that happened, and that delayed us a lot.
That's a good thought. So let me here. Let's talk about what to do with that, because that's a huge opportunity that for you guys to fly.
Because normally when they split spawn, that normally makes me think that someone's in a weird spot, and
Yep.
I think I was trying to look for him up mid, and I didn't see him, and then I don't know. Then we just kind of regrouped and pushed, but it was very slow.
Yeah. So if they're blue, I don't know where they're at yet. So you got we got one guy who spawns over here, another guy spawns like a window. This is your spawn. Sorry. When you spawn, these 2 are dead. So this is the spawn, and what I wanted you to do is either go bottom mid to pillars, although Fulcrum ends up getting shocked, so he falls back. So if you guys are communicating, and he needs help over here, this is an easy Fulcrum goes bottom mid, and then you take over for C. And if you can't kill someone that he's already been shooting, again, I'll just refund this month. That's an easy. We should be able to push that. So like this is what could have happened. So like that happens, and then these 2 guys spawn back over here. I don't disagree with getting a split spawn. There is something weird about that. Like what's going on here? Like is there somebody bottom mid? Is there somebody I mean, he wouldn't have been A, but like, is there someone bottom mid, like on KoTH? Is there somebody who got over through Turbine? But like any of these positions that would have affected like the mid, because it'd be just this line between you. Like what I said before, my computer wants to get thrown out tonight. Go away. Anybody who's over there would be out of position right now.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens here, and what I like, the quickest way for you guys to get there is getting to dice, getting to B pillars, getting to sandbags, and getting to over here. If you guys have this push going on, if they have somebody on the other side of the map, like that's prime for you guys to be able to fly, right?
Yeah.
Even if there's a guy like top mid somehow, and you know they're between. That's what I want you to be able to see here. But like the idea that you should have in your head, if it's not to do this where you're splitting one goes bottom, one goes top. If you both go top like this, then what you're trying to do in this order is one of you is going to get to the corner to start chowing, and the other is going to fly to nest to start chowing, and then you both are up here chowing these guys, right?
Yeah.
And you haven't dropped yet. You haven't dropped yet. So you two are up here, and then if you can, then the only other thing that you need to make this push happen is someone gets up on sandbags. If you got somebody sandbags and you guys are all looking in on this, this is just shooting fish in a barrel. And what you need to have happen is someone is able to fly all the way out on the objective to start really getting in people's faces, throwing pummels, throwing shots. The other two guys are staying alive here, and then if Shmuel's able to come around over to the big door, then what ends up happening is you've got a guy on the hill. You're dead. You got a guy on the hill, a guy on big door. You got a guy up on C plat and a guy in nest. All you have to really do from here is figure out who's dropping down to B pillars. Drop down B pillars. You got this way. You go up into concrete. You're going, you know, you're watching this. Nest guy is up on top and he's watching back towards nest, and then your B guy can be like dark side, and he's looking over here. All of your angles that they're gonna come on, they're gonna push you guys from are covered, and all you have to do is rotate and shoot the same person.
Yeah.
So when we're making that push, try to do it together so that we can make it, or try to get to the, like, I want you to have the fastest route in your head to that objective. Like, just keep the pressure up on the objective. I especially on King of the Hill, I hate when they just get scrap time. Like when we're in a fight with them or they're down a guy and they're getting time, it just pisses me off more than anything, because they should just be they should be getting shot. Because if you guys jump in it, you're gonna get shot. So like, let's look towards the objective. Let's get there faster. But like that last push could have been really, really perfect with what you guys have here. So like on that push, you guys are together. Like, let's just push it out together. But have the same idea in your head of, okay, we're not gonna drop until we get the pick, or we're not gonna both push on out onto that objective there. Okay.
Enemy team nearing victory.
And when we make it, and this is just for Monkeyz because he did it, if we're gonna make the push out onto the objective, we make the push out on the objective. You'd never want to stop in the middle here, because if somebody else checks their angle, like, you're just gonna get shot from the nest guy. You're literally gonna get shot from anybody else on the map. So when we make that out there, like, we gotta get all the way out there, or like even like crouching behind this pillar. Yeah, your head's still available for him to shoot, but like they gotta make that really tiny shot. We just gotta do a lot more to protect our body, and we're making these flanks out. I love this. Like, you're just subconsciously doing this. Let's go.
High caliber carnage.
I think that's the third time you've died there.
Yeah.
Your team about to score.
You gotta help Fulcrum get that kill. I mean, there is something to be said about trusting Fulcrum is gonna get it and staying on B pillar, but like, that's the wildest part about that, is that you guys killed 3 of them, they killed 3 of you, but they're the ones that were still scoring there. Run Monkeyz. You got nades.
Enemy team took the hill.
Gunfire.
Hill
You're putting out the best you could there.
Yeah, I was trying to save the nades in case they try to go
Your
to the
team
hill.
scored. Hill incoming.
Incoming.
Hill ready. Enemy team took the hill.
Power items available.
All right, I like how this played out for parts of it. Some of it could change. Right now, I want you to recognize you're in a piv with this guy. If you win this fight, you get OS. If he wins this fight, you get OS. Luckily, your team rotates over. This is the first time I've seen you guys actually fight for OS together, so this was very nice. When we get this OS, what are we trying to do with it?
Get control of C.
Yeah, we're trying to break their setup, and we're trying to lead the way in there, so other guys should not be taking more damage than us. We've got extra shields, like that's what the purpose of it is. So you can either go through cuts to jump up there, or you can go the way that you went up to tower. Either one is going to be okay for the situation, because you got guys over there already. I probably would just go towards cuts, but Fulcrum dies here, so like you get this kill. And then this guy up here, what could we have done better here? On this frame.
Throw a grenade.
You could throw, yeah, so you got some utilities that you could do, but like what's probably more important?
Cutting into bottom tower so he can't shoot me more.
Staying alive. Yeah, so like going back to this guy, similar to like how you chased before, like this guy does not need to chase you, but he also has nowhere to go. So if we stay alive here, we can wait for our team. We got spawners in here who end up cleaning him up, and he's really got not a lot to do up here, but like we can I think we can do more if we just stay alive here. So if you go bottom tower, or if you go back tower, your team ends up pretty much cleaning him up there, and unfortunately he's able to get the pummel. Like you'd be alive right here again, and we've got 3 people on the hill already.
Got hit in the back. I didn't need to trade that guy.
Yeah. So I want you to pay attention to like who's on your screen, and like how often we could just stay alive in a position, so that we can continue to have it. Like even if you get your shields back and he gets his shields back, like he knows that you're still there. He can't like do his job. He can't get any angles up there. He's got to be aware that you're still there. So just trusting your team is going to be able to help you out there. And honestly, if you would have just messed up the jump, you would have lived there. Like that's how much he was dead.
1 minute remaining.
And then all 4 of you would be alive right there. I like the push there. There's one thing I would tell you differently, and this is what I talked about earlier. Just keeping those like 3 spawns in your head.
1 minute.
When you're running off of this, what's something else that we could do here? Your team's already on tower. You got an A spawn. Keeping that triangle in your head.
I could meet the spawners that
Are coming off B.
Yeah.
So like right here, you can see him right there now. But what I want you to be able to see is you got somebody already on C. So playing this position here, you could still do this, and you could help Monkeyz when he pummels this guy. But you can also catch the guys off spawn to prevent them from going up on nest, and just paying attention to who's spawning. Because if you get shot behind, you can just curb slide up top mid, or you can now be the guy up on B. But like you can right now cut them off from being able to go up to nest, and give your team some time to get control over C. If you would have just looked over there a couple seconds later, you would have seen this guy, and you would have just been putting shots into that guy. So when we're playing this map, and it's just a weird way to think about it, but like if you narrow it down to only 3 spawns or 3 major areas, if you've got tower A and B, like that's just it, and start looking across over towards. So if you're on A and you guys are fighting for C, look over towards B. If you guys spawn B, look up towards A. Like shut these guys down and prevent them from getting to your team, because right now you can't be in the fight because you have to run across the map. But if you created a new fight over here with the idea of still fighting towards the hill, I think that does a lot more for your team there. You meet that guy anyway and kill him, you would have killed him earlier. And it does a little bit to relieve. I don't know if this fight would have gone any differently. Shmuel would have still been met by that guy, but Nice. Shots off spawn. Let's go. Now you look at it. Let's go.
Enemy team took the hill.
Probably could have just stayed alive there just to wait for spawns, but where's Fulcrum go here? All right, that's okay. So this is one of those other ones, Fulcrum. Just as you're looking at it, you look at that bottom mid area right there. The pushback mid, back mud. If I can get to the broken, there we go. The pushback mud is really it's really tough for people to do, because if anybody's above you, they're just gonna look down on you and just shoot you until and they can use the ground as cover. So
Yeah.
I don't like making this push unless we have to. So usually if like with what Monkeyz is doing out here, that's okay. And then you got a guy up on nest. What you could do here is go around them to dummies and get behind them. And I want you to see that, like, how many times you're behind your team when you're making a push. Because if you're behind them, chances are like they're gonna get killed first because they don't have your help, and then you're just gonna get cleaned up, or you're gonna clean them up, and like nobody has the advantage. Like the most that you do is you get your team back into an even state. So instead of go ahead.
I was gonna say it also gets back to making them fight a larger angle. Like if they were getting, right now they're only fighting this 90 degrees towards nest mud, and if we had someone directing the fight to widen their angle, so they got to turn around.
Yeah,
and I actually remember like in this moment, I thought about taking that dummies push, but I was actually thinking back to that little 10-minute opening portion. I was thinking about trying to push that same lane with the rest of my team, but I don't think there was enough we could do from this one. It probably would have, it would have been the better push to just kind of split off and go dummies, and then we link up in pretty much the same place anyway.
Yeah, and recognizing like what's a good lane to push and what's not a good lane to push. So, like back mud, because it's low ground, not a good lane to push. But the other thing to be aware of is there's a bad habit of also trying to save your teammates, being the hero. I do this a lot, or I get out of position to try to help them, or I'll take more damage, or I'll go for a kill that I don't really need. So in this position here, like I'd almost be arguing that making that mud push is not as important as putting somebody in nest to put shots on and then pushing everybody else through dummies, because you're gonna have to kill the guy nest or isolate that angle so that you can fight everybody on dummies, make them make a mistake right here. And so I'd almost argue that like the mud guy is out of position, you should be pushing over towards dummies. And so I want you to be able to see that, like how many times.
Yeah, gotcha. And then we have Smeal coming off spawn, so
yeah, and he's over on nest side, so like he'd be there to make a delayed push over on your side anyway. So I just seeing that as we're okay, so Monkeyz loses his, but you win one, and then Beast loses his.
I died that angle too much.
yeah, I think I got a nice
hover on tower.
Yeah,
I got a couple nice kills there with the mud jump, but then I lost. I needed to win that fight with the top tower and lost it.
Yeah, and that whole time they're able to get hit. That whole time they're getting that. So that was a really fun one. I enjoy King of the Hill and being able to look at that and go, hey, one, you guys need to coordinate a little bit more together on like what we're going for. So like if we're going for overshield, everybody goes for overshield. If we're going for hill, let's go for hill, and not overexposing. Like there's a lot of times that you guys are trying to force things like it's game 14 main stage, and it's this is it. Like we have to win this. Take a step back, stay alive, and get the damn pick. It's gonna the objective play will come. Play for the position, play for that pick, and then play for that objective. get the scrap time and get them out of the scrap time. These guys were getting way too much scrap time on you guys to force you into that mindset of like, we have to get these, when you really didn't. Like, you just get your rounds of slays, focus up on that part, and then jump into the objective. And when you guys are down a guy, get out of the objective and just don't let them into it, right? You can score and you can prevent them from scoring. And I look at that, and then look at the like the positioning there. Beast, as we go through more of these, I do want to start pointing out to you like how many times we're taking too much damage or putting ourselves into a bad spot. Because for the most part, you make really good like push decisions, and you try to position yourself where you need to be at. But there's a lot of times where you're just taking way too much damage for no reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do notice that I usually have the most damage taken on the team, and I gotta stop that.
Yeah, let's. You got other teammates here. Let's trust them, especially when we're running with the other students. Like, we're all talking about the same things, so let's start, doing that. And I know with Monkeyz, and I've talked to him before about his presence on the map and being a bigger, being more aggressive. And sometimes that happens, and sometimes it doesn't. But that's all right. But we're all talking about the same thing. So anyway, any questions or anything I can go back over?
No, that was good.
Okay. Again, thank you guys for being here. I apologize for the computer. I'm gonna figure all this stuff out for next week. I'll get this uploaded, and hopefully it looks better on my end for review. But yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.